bought a piece of land up here about 7 or 8 years ago. I'd have to check which. I didn't buy it for the barn. I bought it for the place the barn happens to be standing in. The man who sold me the land was named Nell. He built this barn himself, by hand. Sometime around, he wouldn't say exactly when. Nell's relationship with dates was relaxed. For a long time, he kept horses in it. The last one was called Jika. When I bought the land, I told Nello the barn was still his. As long as he was around, Jika had a home in it. That was the arrangement. It worked for about 7 years. Nello passed in March. God bless his soul. His partner, Mita, moved down to her children's house, in a village with shops and people and lights. It's a kind place. It is too quiet up here for one person. Jika is alright. Some of Nello's people from the village look after him now. He gets walked, he gets fed. He just doesn't live here anymore. Which means, for the first time in a Nello amount of years, the barn is mine to do something with. First day, I closed the door, walked back up the hill, and that was when it caught up with me. There was the size of it, and there was the question of why. And neither was easy to look at directly. I generously think of myself as being handy. But like most millennials, I have never built anything that didn't come with the instructions and a small Allen key. This barn was built by a man who is no longer here, using tools and skills and patience I have generously none of. My dog was on watch. I told her to calm down. And then, far down the slope, there was a fox, leaving. I thought about selling the land. I thought about who I'd sell it to. I thought about Nello and what he'd say if he came up the path and found me sitting here packing it in after one afternoon. I went to sleep without deciding anything, which, in my experience, is how most decisions actually get made. But mornings are unfair to despair. They just arrive.
Uite ce miel frumos. Ce frumos sunt, uite-l pe ăsta ce miel. Are numai o săptămână. Uite ce gras e ăsta.
These are my work boots, 22 euros at a hardware store down the valley. In a certain light, from a certain angle, in the right kind of grass, they are basically Louboutin. There's a moment before you start when you understand exactly how much work it is. And then you have to start anyway, because the alternative is standing there understanding. The first job is the simplest job. The horse shit has to leave the barn. Jika left some of it. Jika before him left more. And the horses before them, Nello had a few over the years, left the rest. It requires no tools you don't have, no skills you don't have, no permits, no phone calls. It just has to leave the barn. By me. Wearing the red boots. Here's a thing I learned by doing it. Some of the manure in this barn is not from this decade. Some of it is, to use a generous estimate, vintage. The deeper you dig, the older it gets. There are layers in there that, if Nello's relationship with dates is correct, could plausibly be from the year the barn was built, which Nello thought was somewhere around 1972. Could be earlier, could be later. Nobody's writing this down. I've been told that aged horse manure, properly composted, is among the most valuable things you can put on a garden. I have, perhaps, the most premium garden compost in the country sitting in a heap outside my barn. I do not have a garden. I'm going back in 3 weeks. I don't have a plan. I don't know if I can pull this off. But if I sell it, I know what happens to this hillside. Someone arrives with money and an architect. The barn comes down. A wellness retreat goes up. 8 identical cabins. A sauna shaped like a cube. A sign at the road in 2 languages. And I'm definitely not ready to be the person who let that happen.